Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I am your brother Fadil Sulaiman, the director of Bridges Foundation. And first of all, I need to apologize to every one of you that I couldn't make it to France and be with you in this conference because of some circumstances, so I had to stay in London. Also, I was invited by Mercy to Mankind and IERA, whom I really want to thank so much for inviting me to talk to the dua in this blessed conference. And I know that this is a conference about da'wah and that you are all dua. But at the same time, you have much better teachers than me. And I cannot compete with someone like Hamza Tsorsis or Yusuf Chambers or Abdurrahim Green or Amr Samni or all of those people who are definitely talking to you about da'wah techniques, presentation skills, public speaking skills, how to speak convincingly. So I thought it's not really a good idea to talk about these things with you when you have those great teachers with you in the conference. But actually, I thought of talking to you about something different. And that's why I decided to talk to you about yourselves. I have one advice for you today. As a da'i who is calling people to Allah, don't be a bridge which people cross to paradise and then be thrown in hellfire. Why am I saying this? Because many of us keep doing da'wah until da'wah become a habit. And then they start doing it even without passion. And then they don't keep the same good intentions and sincere intentions. And it becomes like something that we are competing with each other about, bragging about how many shahadas we gave and stuff like that. And this is very dangerous. This is very dangerous. As someone doing da'wah, you need to do da'wah first to yourself. I don't mean that you need to do da'wah to yourself until you become the perfect Muslim and then you start calling people to Allah, because this will never happen. None of us is perfect. And the Prophet ﷺ, in his sunnah, he was doing da'wah to Muslims and to non-Muslims. And the Sahaba were learning how to speak to their people, and at the same time, they were doing da'wah to themselves. What does it mean, da'wah to yourself? Da'wah to yourself is what we call tarbiyah. And tarbiyah means constant change. Every one of us needs to change to a better person. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Allah does not change the status of any people until they change their own status. إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُغَيِّرُ مَا بِقَوْمٍ حَتَّى يُغَيِّرُوا مَا بِأَنفُسِهِمْ. So we want to change ourselves to better. But there are two types of change. There is temporary change and constant change. Temporary change is something that all of us experienced when we went to Umrah. Those of you who went to Umrah, I think they remember how high their iman was when they came back from Umrah. And they also remember in how long did it discharge. It discharged quickly, within days, within weeks. This is because Umrah causes temporary change. What we need to do is constant change, a change that doesn't discharge. And this is done through certain things. But before continuing on this, we need to understand first, who are we? Because a mechanic cannot fix a car unless he understands the components of the car. So that's a motor, and that's a body of the car, that's a transmission box. The motor needs fuel, and it needs motor oil, which is different from transmission oil. And so on. So he needs to understand every component and what it needs. Every one of us is composed of 4 components. Those 4 components are given to us either weak or empty. If they are weak, Allah gave us tools to strengthen them with it. And if they were empty, Allah gave us tools to fill them up. So the 4 things are, number 1, Al-aql, the mind. Number 2, the heart. Number 3, the spirit. Number 4, the body. Al-aql, the mind, was given to you with zero knowledge. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Huwa akhrajakum min al-ard. He is the one who got you out from your mother's wombs. Huwa akhrajakum min butuni ummahatikum. La ta'lamuna shay'an. He got you out from your mother's wombs with no knowledge at all. None of us was born with any knowledge. وَجَعْلَ لَكُمُ السَّمْعَ وَالْأَبْصَارَ وَالْأَفْئِدَةَ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَشْكُرُونَ. And He made for you the hearing senses, the seeing senses, and the burning hearts in order to give thanks. So Allah gave us tools to fill up those empty minds, which means to seek knowledge with and to learn how to think objectively. So this is when it comes to the mind. When it comes to the heart is the container of feelings. The heart, when it's mentioned in the Quran or in the Sunnah, most of the time doesn't mean the pump or the muscle that pumps the blood. It means the container of all of your feelings. And those hearts were given to us good and ready to submit by nature. Unlike in Christianity, one is born with an original sin. In Islam, one is born with an original goodness, good heart, ready to submit. But there's one problem with this heart, is that it's exactly like a mobile battery. It dies every day if it's not charged with Iman. How can we charge our hearts with faith, with Iman? We need to use the charger. And the charger of this heart is dhikrullah, the remembrance of Allah. Every day. Dhikrullah is of 3 main types. Number 1, the Quran. Number 2, Salah. Number 3, the adhkar and the dua and the munajat. Conversing with Allah, asking Allah, invoking Allah. One of you may hear this and say, okay, then I'm fine with that. I actually read Quran every day. I memorize the whole Quran, or I memorize a big part of the Quran. Or he can say, regarding Salah, I pray 5 times a day. Sometimes I pray the 5 prayers in the mosque. So I'm fine. No, you're not fine. You're not fine. When it comes to the Quran, for example, how do you deal with the Quran? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, went to him complaining from us to him. وقال الرسول يا ربي إن قومي اتخذوا هذا القرآن مهجورا. And the messenger said, "O my Lord, my people have dealt with this Quran by deserting it." He didn't say we deserted the Quran. We dealt with it by deserting it, which means that we read it, we memorize it, but we don't ponder it, we don't do tadabbur. So we need to do tadabbur for the Quran. Because unfortunately, our contribution to the Quran is that we have made it the only book in the world which is read without understanding. How can we call people to Islam and tell them about the importance of the Quran, and we, the dua, do not read the Quran? We have to read the Quran every day, because this is how we put our heart on the charger, to charge it with Iman. Regarding Salah, are you sure that you're happy with the way you pray? Isn't it the case that even when you go and you pray in the mosque, as soon as the Imam says Allahu Akbar, you go Allahu Akbar, and you start planning? Soon after I finish the Salah, I have to go to the supermarket and buy the grocery list, which is in my pocket, that my wife put, and I should not forget bread, because there's no bread for the kids in the morning. If Allah allows you to see what's in the mind and the heart of everyone in the Salah, you will see this one selling his car, this one selling his house, this one thinking about money, this one thinking about studying, this one is... Minds are heedless in Salah. That's why the Prophet ﷺ said, some people pray and they don't get rewarded for half of their Salah, and some people not for 1/3, some people not for 1/4, some people not for 1/6, some people not for 1/10. Because Only what you fathom from your salah is what you are rewarded for. How can I bring khushu'? Khushu' means consciousness of God. How can I bring consciousness of God to my salah, to my prayers? There's a way. We need to learn this. So we need what we call tarbiyah imaniyah. We need to learn how to read the Quran with pondering. We need to read it every day and fathom it and ponder it and apply it in our life. We need to pray with khushu'. These are the things that can fix you as a da'i and make you sincere when you work and you call people to Allah. So this is when it comes to the heart. The third thing is the spirit. If spiritually you're not balanced, your ego will take control of you. And you have to understand that your ego is the biggest enemy. Shaitan is not your biggest enemy. Shaitan actually was mentioned in the Quran that it is so weak. So weak. What is really, really dangerous is your ego. What made the shaitan himself become shaitan? Was there a shaitan before the shaitan that made the shaitan become shaitan? There wasn't. It's all about the ego. Allah commanded him to prostrate and he did not prostrate. Allah blamed him. Why didn't you prostrate to the one that I created with my hands? He said, Ana khayrun minhu. I am better than him. The ego. Ana. I am is your biggest enemy. It is what made the shaitan become shaitan. He wasn't the shaitan, he was Iblis, a beautiful creature. After that, he became a shaitan, devil. It's what made Fir'aun become a devil. أَلَيْسَ لِي مُلْكُ مِصْرَ وَهَذِهِ الْأَنْهَارُ تَجْرِي مِنْ تَحْتِي. Don't I have the sovereignty over Egypt? Egypt at that time was not Sisi's Egypt. That was the United States of America at that time, the superpower. He said, don't I have sovereignty over Egypt, authority over Egypt, and all those rivers streaming underneath? Me, I have the authority. I am. That's the ego. Qarun, same thing. He said, إِنَّمَا أُوتِيتُهُ عَلَى عِلْمٍ عِنْدِي. I was given it based on a knowledge that I had. Knowledge that I had. The ego. How can you deal with this? How can you run over your ego? How can you control your ego, not allow your ego to control you? This needs spiritual tarbiyah, which exists in the Quran, showing us how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did this tarbiyah to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself. And the fourth thing is tarbiyah for your body, which is actually what you are getting now in the conference, because if you bring 2 cups of tea and you put in one of them 10 spoons of sugar, but you don't stir them, and in the other one put 2 spoons of sugar only and stir it well, taste both of them, which one will taste sweeter? The one with 2 spoons of sugar, because it was stirred. The one with 10 spoons will not taste sweet because they were not stirred. So this movement made the effect. To do tarbiyah for your body means to be active, to volunteer, to work. That's exactly what you're in this conference learning. How to work, how to be active, and so on. But being active alone is not important. You need to have strong iman in your heart, and you need to work on yourself and on your sincerity. All of us do good work. But do we really do it for the sake of Allah? Or so that we can be seen as righteous? We can be praised by people? This is so dangerous. That's why, again, I will remind you, my brothers and sisters, that don't be a bridge on which people cross to paradise and then be thrown in hellfire. You need to save yourself, like you also work to save other people. Jazakumullah khairan. Barakallahu fikum. Again, I would like to extend my appreciation to IERA and to Mercy to Mankind for inviting me to talk to you. Assalamu alaikum.